So here we are about 15 miles south of Chinook, Montana at Bear Paw Battlefield. This is the site of the last battle of the 4-month Nez Perce War of 1877. Early in the summer of 1877, the Nez Perce, along with several other tribes, took off on a journey from their homeland to a new reservation. The U.S. government had ordered them to do this. They reluctantly took off on this trip. It was a long trip, and somewhere during it, there were some skirmishes between the Indians and the Army, who was shadowing and following the movement of the tribe. So at some point, the tribe took off and started sprinting and left the soldiers in the background, and they gained a lot of time being ahead of those soldiers. And they reached this point 15 miles south of Chinook, where they found a really cool campground area. It's very nice, a bunch of rolling hills, a rolling creek or stream that goes to the Milk River nearby, and it's also depressed where the campground is into the local topography, so that anybody approaching from any direction doesn't see the lower sections where the Indians are all camped, and so it's a nice camouflage for their campground. Until you're right on them, you don't see them. It drops down. So it's really a nice area, and they decided to take a couple of days break. Really, one day. They wanted to hunt and get some new food, and they wanted to get some rest. So it was kind of a Saturday, Sunday deal where they were relaxing, and the scouts had not seen any soldiers behind them coming up, so they thought it was all clear, and it was as far as that goes. But they did not know that another soldier group, led by General Miles, was coming from the east, a whole new direction, and that was a surprise to the Nez Perce. So they're sitting around enjoying the day, and all of a sudden they're under attack, and it gets real bloody real quick. There are 800 men, women, and children here, and they're in different factions. There are 5 different bands, but they're all fighting together. But there are 5 chiefs. The most famous is Chief Joseph. He is the one who eventually surrendered, and probably is famous for that reason. But otherwise, it's a group of seasoned veteran braves, and suddenly they're defending themselves against this fight that turns into a siege, which means long-term artillery and mortar fire. I mean, that's what they're firing on these families down in the valley by the river. They're just firing artillery on them and killing people. So after a while, things happened. It was pressed to battle, and everybody push came to shove. About 300 of the Indians ended up breaking free and going north into Canada, where they were safe, and everybody else was either killed trying to bury the dead already. People had come back and now they're in trouble, or they surrendered. And there was a big surrender ceremony. Chief Joseph was involved, and at the end, there were several promises by General Miles that were reneged and never followed out on, and the Indians, as usual, came out number 2, and that's the end of it. It's just not real good. And if you have any questions, just Google Bear Paw Battle, Montana, and check it out.